Hello, this is Matt Cockerham with RE/MAX 100, and today we are going to talk about open houses and should you do an open house to make sure that your property is properly marketed. All right, open houses have been around forever. Since the start of time in real estate, I'm sure that open houses have been a thing. And lots of sellers think they have to have an open house in order to sell their property or make sure that their property got full exposure. And so today we just want to talk about the pros and the cons, the pluses and the minuses, the realities of open houses, so that you can make an educated decision as you proceed with your home sale and the possibility of including an open house as part of your marketing plan. So I like to lean into the facts when it comes to decision making. And one of the things that I love is this report and this survey that the National Association of Realtors does every single year. They survey home buyers and home sellers about the home buying and selling process that they've had in the year past, and then they publish the results. And so I've been in the business over 25 years, and one of the things that I like, or one of the questions that they ask is, how did you find your home? They ask these home buyers, how did you find your home? And they publish this pie chart. And so when I first started in the business years ago, the pie chart would have a large portion of the people would say, oh, a real estate agent helped us find our house. That was always one of the bigger sections of the pie, actually the biggest section of the pie probably. And then they would say we found it in the newspaper, or we found it word of mouth, or whatever the case may be. Now, over the years, the section of print or newspaper section of the pie has shrunk to almost zero. And of course, I'm sure you could figure out the section that has grown has been the online section. People are discovering their properties on the internet. And so, one of the sections of the pie that has remained very, very consistent is open houses. And over the course of the years, for the most part, the percentage of home buyers that say they found their house, they discovered it exclusively as a result of the open house, is 2 to 3%. So 97% of the home buyers are finding their house another way. And my question is, for those 2 to 3% that found the house via the open house, would have they found it another way if they hadn't wandered into that open house? So my guess is that really only 1 to 2% of the people literally wander through an open house. That's the house they have to buy, and they go buy it. I think for 98 to 99% of the people, they would have found that house one way or the other, and the open house wasn't a huge indicator or a huge impactor of the sale of the house. So you might be asking, why then do open houses stick around? Why do agents still do open houses? Well, there's a few reasons. I mean, one, it does bring a nice exposure and energy to the property. It gives people a chance to meet and easily be able to access and see the property. Quite frankly, there's a lot of sellers who think, hey, I gotta have one, and so the agents do it to make the sellers happy. From an agent's point of view, I'm gonna kind of pull back the curtains and let you know that the agents do them because they meet home buyers there. They might not buy that house, but they're gonna go buy another house. And the agents want to have the open house to draw the buyers in, they meet them and they go sell them another house. And exactly the same kind of logic, the neighbors want to come through too. A lot of times 1 out of 3 people through an open house is a neighbor. And those agents want to meet those neighbors too, because guess what? Neighbors eventually are going to be sellers. So there's a lot of reasons agents do open houses. The question for you is it worth it? As a real estate agent, I like them a lot. I enjoy open houses. I like meeting the people. I like seeing the people and things like that. I'm one agent, and the most I've ever seen number of agents at open house is 2. The most number of people I've ever had in an open house was probably 10 to 15 different parties on an ultra busy open house, which means there's 13 couples or so, or parties I guess, wandering through the house unsupervised. We have very, very, very few problems, but under what other circumstance would you let groups of strangers wander your house? It's just an odd thing. So like I said, we have very few incidences of problems, but just something for you to consider as you're thinking about whether to do an open house or not. You know, at the end of the day, you're the only one that can make that decision. You and your real estate agent have to decide whether it's right for you. Oftentimes, open houses do create a lot of energy and excitement around the house, and people will come through and eventually make offers on the house. Will your house probably sell without an open? Yeah, it probably will. Another reason we use open houses, and I think probably the best time to do an open house, is if you've been on the market for a little while and for some reason you haven't sold yet and you make a price adjustment, I think a great way to reintroduce the house to the marketplace is to do an open house the weekend following a price adjustment. So maybe adjust your price on a Monday or a Tuesday, and then plan to do an open house on a Sunday. That gives your agent a lot of lead time to plan the open house and to promote it and get people in and through. So open houses can be a great marketing tool. They are not a must by any stretch. It's something that you need to make the call on between yourself and your sort of tolerance for having that done and talking with your agent. I sure hope that you found this content useful, and if you did, I would love it if you'd like this video and subscribe to this channel. We put out tons of useful real estate content. And in the meantime, between now and the next video that we release, if you have any questions, my text line is always open at 703-587-4711, 703-587-4711.